Worth it though.
Man's got McDonald's, you know. Hello, people. It's your boy Usmaan back again with another video. Man, say I don't wear my United shirts often, so I don't know what perfect time to wear my United shirt when we get kicked out of the mini semi-final again. This time to Sevilla, losing 2-1. Unbelievable scenes. Obviously, this one in the 78th minute. It was an absolute shit show, to be quite honest with you. But we are going to dissect the game from yesterday. We are going to look ahead at what this means, not only for the manager, but for some of the players. You know, the transfer window is open, although Man United clearly don't know it's open because we're not making anybody business. As always, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. We're literally 2 subscribers on 450, so if you haven't already, hit the button. Anyways, I'm joined here by Kojo, Benji, and Jack. Boys, how we doing?
All good, bro. All good.
I'm not good, but yeah.
Okay, here we go. Right, okay, let's flip and just get straight into it. Kojo, obviously, I've heard your thoughts briefly. Well, I said briefly for quite long. If you haven't already, check out the podcast and all for United. But Benji, we'll come to you first and foremost. You know, you've had a day to, I suppose, think about it. Day to potentially, you know, have a sleep on it, so to speak. How are you feeling the day after getting kicked out to Sevilla in the semi-finals?
I still feel the same, like still feel pissed off, still fuming. I think as losses go, I think this is probably one of the worst losses Man United have had for the past 3-4 years for me personally. It's just a sucker punch. It's just a sucker punch. And obviously, the reason why it hurts even more because obviously I wanted to win the Europa League to give the team a boost. But unfortunately we're not gonna win a trophy this season. And we might not win one next season as well, so it's looking a bit dire at the moment. So yeah,
It's just done that.
Yeah, no, but do you know what's funny? Yeah, I think I'll never forget. Like Man United fans are like the funniest fan base in the world because I'll never forget when the draw came out. Everyone was like, "Oh, on the easy side of the draw, Inter's on the other side of the draw." So they'll say like Inter Milan, if you meet them in the final, they'll tick off who we're gonna beat, etc., etc., etc. But I just don't think people watch enough European football as well to actually analyse other teams. It's not only Man United, the only team in the world, to be fair. But you know, I'm devastated. I'm fully devastated.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Obviously, a lot of fans, you know, I suppose if you're looking at it from a realistic standpoint, you would say we won the easy side of the group. Let's be real, isn't it? Easy side of the draw is, you know, you'd rather play Sevilla than Inter. That's just not fact in it, but it's almost fact in terms of what Inter are in terms of football inside. But that aside, I didn't speak to many United fans that were confident going into this game. I don't know what your thoughts, Jack, were going into this game.
Well, I saw, you look at the record that Sevilla have had. It was what, 21, 22 games unbeaten, and then obviously in the last, well, since Fergie has retired, them along with Barcelona and Madrid, the teams successfully beaten the most semi-finals, you know, that have appeared. So I knew what they were a good team, but the performance wasn't exactly. It wasn't the worst performance. We just couldn't finish to save our lives, which was half the problem. We created the chances. I don't know who gave the thing yesterday with the title of "We Were Our Own Downfall." I think it was Jem, was it?
I think it was Jem. Yeah,
that describes it most accurately because we had the opportunities and the chances. We never capitalised on it, and 2 silly mistakes, and then that's it, and then it makes it seem a lot worse than it was. But it's just disappointing not to win a trophy, especially when you have the Arsenal fans piping up today on Twitter about, you know, oh, they've all got their fucking trophies, and then, you know, oh, Aubameyang's 1-1 and Martial's 1-0, and then you have the United fans replying with Martial's Europa Cup when we won it in 2017 with Mourinho. It's just disappointing. I've avoided Twitter today. I've not been near it.
Yeah, no, I think first and foremost, you both obviously alluded to the fact that we needed a trophy. I think for me that's the most disheartening thing. You know, obviously we lost the semi-final to Man City. I wasn't that upset with that one because you know, I suppose we gave a good account of ourselves in the second leg, so to speak. You know, we're a bit unfortunate on the day against Chelsea. Players bottled it. De Gea was absolutely terrible, but you could argue that Oli did set us up right, and I would agree with that. And I just think yesterday for me, Coach, before I pass it to you, you know, a lot of people can say different things. A lot of people are blaming the manager. A lot of people are saying X, Y, and Z. And I suppose that is the case for, you know, only taking responsibility for that game. But you have to look at the players first and foremost. But what was your thoughts, Kojo?
When you have like 4 or 5 one-on-ones, I can't look at the manager anymore. I've got to look at my forwards and say, bro, what the hell was your finishing today? I mean, you know, then they keep on making it difficult for you to score. But the best saying I can think of is Henri saying that once you're the attacker, you have the ball, you are the boss. You are in control of the situation. And we had enough chances to kill the game off. More than enough. So that's on the players. And in terms of just defending as well, I mean, I'm gonna get mad. It's the basics that players lack, and it's not. This is not the United thing. I need to make this crystal clear. This is a thing in general that I've been annoyed about defending for a while. I feel like the basics have been thrown completely out out just to accommodate more like ball playing and this, that, and the other, without actually focusing on what your primary objective is before you add the rest in. But after yesterday, we just did it to ourselves, man. We did it to ourselves. We played well, we created chances, but we refused to finish them. And because if you don't finish them, you get what you deserve. I'll say this time and time again: you get 20 shots and you don't score, they get 1 and they score, you deserve to lose. You get exactly what you deserve. So, you know, Martial, finish better. Greenwood, finish better. He's young. I have a lot of time for young guys, but finish. You know, and I'm not going to go into the defending because I'll just get mad. So someone else take this.
Yeah, we'll come to you, Benji, for the defending. Look, firstly, regarding the finishing, Benji, you were someone that was very critical of Martial in your fan cam. You said, which I personally didn't agree with. You said that Martial's not a clinical finisher. I've not heard you say it before, so this is the first time I've ever heard you say it. Hence why I was a bit baffled that you've come out of that statement off the back of him being absolutely horrendous in terms of finishing. So I personally thought it was reactionary, but obviously you had a day to think about it. Is that still your thoughts on the situation? Or?
Yeah, I've always said it. Maybe I haven't said it on camera, but I've said it to my boys in the group chat. I don't think any of our forwards are particularly clinical. You see how we have, like, obviously we've had like Van Nistelrooy, we've had like people like Van Persie. Them deadly strikers that I'll have like, let's have 3 chances and at least score 1 goal. Martial proved to me yesterday he's not as clinical as the strikers we've had in the past, and it's not a slander towards him, but I also feel like even when he finishes, he doesn't lever shots as well. All of his shots are just play shots, and I feel like sometimes you have to kind of mix up your shots because he always tries to go either nutmeg the keeper or kind of roll it around the keeper as well. I feel like he I wouldn't say he panics in the when he's 1-on-1, but sometimes he gets a bit confused and his touches are a bit heavy as well sometimes, to be fair. But it's like I said on the show, like we need like a striker like Cavani, them type of strikers.
You can't say clinical striker and mention Cavani's name in the same breath, man. I know I'm not going to trigger you both again, but Cavani's not known for being clinical, man. He's not. Yeah. He's known for his elite movement. He's a 1 in 3 striker as well. He's not 100%. There's not many strikers in the world, right? That's 1 in 2. There's not many. You can't name many strikers. Name me many strikers.
But there's a reason why they call him Edison Bags Man Cavani, bro. Like,
it doesn't matter. You put Marcel in that PSG team in the French league, he'd probably bang in 40 goals as well.
Nah.
Well, 30 goals at least. He wasn't far off 30 this season. He's on 20.
Yeah, I just think, you know what it is? I just feel like, obviously you can't really blame the players and you can't really blame anyone for yesterday's defeat. At the end of the day, it's like what people say, whatever happens, happens. But I just think personally that I will obviously come on to it in a second. I just think the defending was just shocking. I think that's the one area that we lacked. And it has been shocking for a very long time. And I said to you guys, start Fosu Mensah over Williams because he's a bit more defendingly astute for me. And yesterday it proved it. Brandon Williams got caught out for both the goals. Wan-Bissaka got caught out. Everyone's golden boy. Wan-Bissaka got caught out for one of the goals as well. It's not Harry Maguire's fault for any of the goals, but obviously I feel like he could have. Everyone was talking about the goals. I feel like if he dropped off 2 yards, which is where the centre half is supposed to be, because everyone, you defended the line. When I was taught how to play football, you defended the line and everyone kind of covers around each other and you all arc your way around. And Man United's defensive line was just shocking yesterday. But Brandon Williams, I'm not trying to single him out, and Wan-Bissaka as well. I'm not trying to single them out. Everyone can say they're young, but for me, it was so shocking. The defending was so basic. Navas, that Navas guy, whatever his name is, he's only got 1 foot. He's had 1 foot for 23 years of his career. Yeah. And if he gets the ball, he's going to try and cross it. There was no pressure on the ball. when the ball came in for the second goal as well, we had 4 or 5 players in the box. They had 1, and they still scored. Like the defending was just a joke, man. Like the defending yesterday was just appalling. Like, and I feel sorry for people like Fred because it's like he had a very very good game, but because of the defending, everyone will be like, oh, why do you start Matters? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And I feel like a lot of people
I've not heard anyone saying that. To be fair, I
I
don't know.
see it on Twitter, bro. I see it on Twitter all the time.
Yeah, but
and
Twitter's
you have to
not the place to look
you have to
for
talk about that's the
respectable
fan base.
opinions, don't it?
But
Yeah,
that's
but
the
people
fan
on
base.
people
You
on
have to talk
Twitter
about
are
half
full
the
of
fan
shit.
base.
Then let's be honest, innit? Yeah, but
You
people on
have to talk
Twitter,
about half the
yeah,
fan
but
base.
people on Twitter didn't want Neymar though. So people on Twitter would say we don't want Neymar because he rolls
Yeah, but
about.
at the end of the
Clueless
day,
fans.
that's where the comments come from. I'm just saying, look,
Yeah,
the defending was awful. I would have started
yeah.
first Cemento, but that's just me anyway.
First and foremost, I agree regarding the defending. I don't think you can single out Fred and say I feel sorry for Fred because I don't think he was the best. Because Pogba and Bruno were absolute sensation as well. The whole midfield was good, so I don't know how Fred's getting a single highlight on his own.
No, I mean like you know how when you play in a team and you're playing well, and then for example, everyone always looks for that one scapegoat, and that one that's the easiest scapegoat is a Manchester United football team at this moment in time. If it's not from Fred, it's Harry Maguire.
It's
So
Ali,
every
though,
time,
isn't
every
it?
time,
Really,
every time a Bournemouth goes wrong,
Ali's the scapegoat, isn't he, Benji? Let's be honest.
he's not really a scapegoat, but we'll come to him in a second. But he's not really a scapegoat. You get me? Like it's just.
Listen, let's pass it to Jackie now. So we come to Ali because then I want to hear Cole's thoughts on Forsman because I already know what he thinks about him. But it'd be interesting to see what you've got to say. That he's only smiling. Right, Jack, what are your thoughts? Obviously, they covered quite a bit, but we'll start with the defense first and foremost because at the end of the day, we could have won that game 1-0 if the defenders didn't have 2 proper laps in concentration. Really.
Yeah. In terms of selection, I suppose he had no choice but to go for Williams, and obviously. I still am a bit confused as to why Lindelof played particularly after Bailly. I know Bailly can be a bit reckless and he's got a bit of an injury issue and whatever, and he's got a habit of getting himself injured. But you saw the last, especially in the previous game, he made 2 or 3 final ditch tackles that I feel like the second goal wouldn't have happened if it was Bailly. Not that I'm saying Bailly's better than Lindelof, and I'm not trying to criticise Lindelof, but the second goal. It was in front of Lindelof, and Bruno had every right to shout him. But I think Bailly would have stopped that because Bailly's unpredictable, which I know sometimes isn't particularly helpful. But he's sort of the type of person to not get caught out and get stuck in. Whereas I feel like Lindelof, he's. I think he would have attacked the ball in that situation where the ball came into the box. Whereas Lindelof was caught watching. I think that's less of a thing that Bailly does because we saw it in the quarterfinals. He did Bailly played perfectly. He was there to stop last-ditch tackles that Lindelof seemed to just miss yesterday. But then again with Williams, he started well, and then I think his confidence just shot after the first goal, and then at the rest of the game, something I don't know. He sort of lacked confidence. But then you can go and argue that maybe Ole should have brought someone on or changed something. But then the argument would be he looks at his bench, and then what? Like,
who's he going to bring on for Williams? Realistically,
no, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I mean, look at the bench, and then who do you bring on? Like, no one's there. Fosu Mensah's. I mean, I don't think he's good enough to be a Man United player, but could he bring him on? Like, I don't know. Would you want to risk it? There's no one on the bench to pick from, and that's our main problem. That will always be our problem until we invest. But
that's a completely fair point in terms of squad depth. Obviously, we'll touch upon that a bit shortly. Listen, Coach, I'm going to come to you. Benji's quite adamant that he wants Fosu Mensah to play. For me personally, I just don't understand where that's even coming from. Maybe a right back, potentially, I'd maybe accept that. Obviously not for Wan-Bissaka, but if there was a position for him to play, it's right back. But left back, not in a million years I would personally play. But what are your thoughts?
Does anyone remember Fosu Mensah at Fulham? Now for me, I understand Fulham were a very, 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 very bad team. But if you are half decent, you can stand out just that little bit more than the rest of the players. He looked worse than Callum Chambers. That's saying something. And he came into our team. He had a terrible injury, so he has overcome, and it's fantastic to see him back on the pitch, like in a general sense. But he had an okay game against a team that we were more than comfortable with. I just don't see a future for him at the club. If we're deadly serious about improving, he's not a player that I would keep there. I don't think Benji's saying that he's going to be like a starter, but I know he's saying that in terms of Brendan Williams, defensively, he's better. Me personally, I still think he sucks regardless. I defensively, I've never been convinced by him. There's also this conundrum about whether he was a right back or a defensive midfielder or a centre back. And when one of those guys, it's not like O'Shea where you knew O'Shea was a defender, but he could play somewhere else. This guy, I actually don't know where he can play. And that's my issue with him. That's my biggest problem with Usmaan. So, you know, I wouldn't start him. But I understand the issue with Williams. But because Williams is still young, actually for Usmaan, but because Williams is young as well, I'm a bit more lenient. It's because you know younger players are going to cost you points and they're going to cost you games. It's always going to happen. So, yeah, I'm a bit lenient with him. But for Usmaan, nah. And to be honest, I hope this is his last appearance.
Well, harsh words there to say the bloody least in terms of, you know, he's not good enough to play with the shirt. I still think he could potentially recover from that. I do think he's got a place in the squad potentially as a utility player, like you mentioned. You know, he can play in numerous positions. It's just which one he can specialize in. For me, I still think as a right back potentially as an option, there might be space for him, but we'll have to wait and see. I want to actually talk about the approach to the game. You know, we've spoken in depth in terms of, you know, we need to press high up the pitch. You know, so we need to get in their faces. Benji, what were your thoughts on the approach and just the general tactics of the game? We'll do first off, then obviously we can talk about second half afterwards.
Well, first off, I think you played all right. I think you started off well. Got into their faces. We tried to anyway. You played some decent passes. Fred was snapping at the heels as usual.
Yeah.
But I just feel like one of the problems that Manchester United have is the lack of the cohesive pressing. Sevilla kind of just popped us around, especially I think was it the first goal or the second goal? But we'll start with the first goal. I think Sevilla just popped us around for both goals. I feel like when you have a proper pressing system, they did.
First goal, possibly. I don't think the second goal they popped us around. It was just a hopeful cross.
Check the second goal. They played it into the middle. The guy got the half turn and he spanned it out to Hayes.
It was literally one ball down the wing. I've watched it about a million times.
Trust me, you should watch it. We got pop, bro. We got the way we got slashed over in the middle. Trust me, maybe that's just me in it, but I feel like for me personally, the pressing needs a lot of work. We need to stop allowing teams to come onto us because we can't deal with pressure at all. Like Maguire and Lindelof, they don't know how to sniff out danger like that. So if they don't, the best way you can do it is by stopping the ball from getting to them. I'm not saying Van Dijk's. I'm not getting on to Van Dijk. I'm not saying he's not a world-class defender or whatever. But at the end of the day, at Liverpool, the system helps him where the ball rarely comes to him because everyone's pressing and the ball rarely comes to that side, if that makes sense. But Manchester United, the way we defend, we're always on bombardment after bombardment after bombardment. Not just this game, but other games, because we don't work hard off the ball enough. For example, the second goal, Rashford let Jesus Navas run off him and then run into a dangerous position. He just left him. He done like a half-hearted press and just let him run. But I think we played well overall, didn't they? Like Kojo and the boys have already said, we just haven't scored. But at the same time, you have to put that down to a lot of our players take too many snapshots. And I feel like a lot of our players in the final third, they rush a lot of the decisions as well. Mainly Mason Greenwood. Every time he gets the ball, he's always trying to look to shoot, which is good. But at the same time, sometimes there's a better passing option on as well. That's just me personally anyway. Rashford as well. I feel like with Rashford, I feel like he thinks he's a bit too much of a superstar, and I think he needs to relax a little bit. Mainly because every time he gets the ball, he's always trying to do this Neymar cutting and bang. Even when he was one-on-one, that skill, bro, just bend the ball in the bottom corner. You don't need to do that extra skill. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. The one.
The step over that pissed me off. I thought he was going to just use his body and just literally pass it into the bottom corner, but
I've never
he
seen
just overplayed
his left foot ever in my life. So why are you trying to with your left foot? Like, these are the type of moments that it's like, you could just tell they're young players, but they're just not mature young players because Mbappe at that age is banging the ball in the back of the net. Do you get me? That's the difference in level of the Champions League and Manchester United at the moment. And obviously, people are saying he should be sold or whatnot. It's just stupidness. He has a lot to improve. He's had a very good season, but it's just that added quality, that last moment in the final third where he let himself down yesterday, for me personally.
Yeah, I think first and foremost regarding Rashford, I think even he's not stupid, man. He's been around for quite a while now. He'll know himself. He had a poor game. I think in terms of you know, what you said regarding us rushing decisions in the final third. I think there's definitely a case for that. You know, we've got very young. Again, I'm not making excuses with anyone. You know, the average age is 21 of our front three, and John Mean, and they've got a lot to learn. Greenwood, as you mentioned, sometimes his decision making can be better. He's always looking to try and take a shot. There was one incident I remember in particular that he just had to lay the ball off to Wan-Bissaka. I don't know if it was first half or second half. He went past his guy, and all he had to do was call it back to Wan-Bissaka, and he's got a clean shot. He decided to shoot from flipping just the most acute angle. So obviously they're going to make poor decisions. Regarding the Rashford thing, when you said he caught in and shot, for me personally, if I was a manager, I'll be telling him to do that more, because that's what
But
you
he
want.
can't do it, man.
Yeah, but he can't do it. I think Rashford's just a confidence player, man. You know,
I
when he's on song, you see him, they go in, man. It's not like
No,
he's.
I get that, but at the same time, like, you have to understand that I feel like he tries to do individual stuff too much. He doesn't. I don't think he needs to try and link up with Martial more.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
More.
Well, that's how we got the penalty,
decision,
isn't it?
bro.
He linked up with Martial. He played a 1-2. Obviously, Martial scooped it back to him.
Yeah,
He
but
should have
it's a
scored
decision,
that
like,
as well, to be fair.
I'm not. It's good for him to try stuff, but you have to also. I'm not being bad, but the level he can get to. People are saying he can get to Mbappe, these type of levels. He can. He has a very high ceiling, but at the end of the day, to be at that level, you have to do what they do. And there's times that Neymar will go and do a 1-2, and that's how they scored, or Mbappe will do a 1-2.
Yeah,
you don't always have to cut in and shoot. Or like he's on the wide, he picks up the ball and tries his long ball like Sanchez does. No, you don't have to do that, bro. Like sometimes just relax in the final third in the possession.
Yeah,
he's had a good season. I can't really get on to him too far.
Yeah, no. To be fair, I do agree with that. I think Rashford's one of the guys that frustrates the fans a lot because he has the ability, but his decision making is all over the place. Jack, we'll come to you, mate. What were your thoughts on the front three? Obviously, Benji's spoken about, you know, them basically rushing the chances. Of course, they're finishing the rush, but in terms of decisions, did you notice that as well, or do you have a different opinion to that?
No, I agree completely with Benji. You can tell Martial in terms of his placement, his ability to go past people. You'd bet on Martial to finish half those. You put your house on him finishing at least 2-3 yesterday, but unfortunately it didn't. But you can tell that he's the most mature out of all of them because, as Benji was saying, the lack of indecisiveness from Rashford, sometimes it's very confusing because 1 minute he can do something fantastic that looks better than Mbappe, and then the next minute his indecisiveness and his lack of decision making, where, as Benji was saying, he'll be 1-on-1, and instead of putting it in the bottom corner, he'll turn back onto his left foot. And as Benji was saying, when has he ever used his left foot? There was an opportunity 2-3 times yesterday where he runs down, the wing, he cuts back in, opportunity to shoot, but then he cuts back and then he cuts back in, and you can tell, although he's been around the longest, he's 20. He's 2 weeks younger than me, so he's 23 in October. He's 23 in October, so he's been around. I remember him his debut. That was when I was 18, so that was 5 years ago. So he's been around a long time, but it's just a lack of confidence. I think before the injury, he was playing fantastic, and since coming back, his free kicks look a bit off, and his shooting just doesn't seem to be as.
Can I just add, Jack? Sorry to interrupt you, mate. No, his free kick, right? I lost my shit on the watching on, right? His free kick, the one that he hit on target was a poor shot, but keeper parried it. Where the hell is the person following it up? There was one guy following up. What is that about? Like,
but it always.
I don't think they thought he was gonna get on target.
Yeah, I know, but I get that, but come on, Hernandez is there, man. He's scoring that every day of the week.
But that's like what Ollie said. Like, he's the one that said that we don't have a potent finisher.
Igalo could have.
That's willing to break his neck to get the chances. Obviously, Man United Twitter also says that Martial's deadly. But that's what Ollie has said. He said that, look, I want a striker that can finish them chances, and a certain striker would be in that position, but Martial wasn't there. So
I don't think Martial's that type of striker, though. That's the thing.
I think this Martial slander is absolutely ridiculous. I've got to be honest, Benji. The fact
I'm not slandering him. He's my favourite player. That's how funny it is.
It's just he's not that type of player, is he? I don't think he's that type of player.
He's been so. Sorry to interrupt you again, Jack. I will pass you back. But when Bruno first came in, right? It was Martial and Bruno. Martial was getting one chance a game and literally scoring every game. So I just don't know it. Like, I get it. Yesterday he was poor, and against Copenhagen he should have done better as well. But I think overall, like, he's been fantastic for us. I'm not gonna lie. And Tim's
Yeah, no,
finishing
but
as
he's
well.
my favorite player. I agree, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying like that. I just quoted what Ollie said. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair.
He's a manager.
He's not that type of striker, though, is he? Really, let's be honest. He's not. As you saying, when the free kick came into the box, he's not the type of person you'd have as a poacher on the end of it. If that was a Garlo, then you'd put more money on him scoring from a rebound.
Use the buzz and put my house on it, but then you thought, nah, maybe
Nah,
not.
you know, but he's not that type of striker. Martial's the modern number. You know, the old school striker of as Benji was saying, like the Van Nistelrooy and the
Yeah.
You know, if that had rebounded and Ibra was in the box, Ibra probably would have got the end of it because it's in their instinct. Marshall's.
Yeah,
I'm not slandering Marshall.
No, it's true. It's true.
Jack, sorry to bash the ball, but Ibra would have taken the free kick.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
He's
true.
definitely taking the free kick.
No,
but you are right. You are right, 100% regarding instinct.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't mean in a critical way. I just mean that Marshall's a more modern number 9, where it's less of a striker where they have 1 or 2 touches in the game and they'll score 3. Marshall's the type of striker to have 50 touches and still score 3. But that's just modern football. That's just the way football is these days. I'm not being critical of Martial. He's been fantastic. He could be our centre forward for the next 6-7 years. But he's never going to have that instinctive poaching. But that's not modern football, though, really, is it?
It's not poaching, is it, really? But let's pass it to you, Coach. Obviously, before we go to you, there's a few comments. Quite a few from Man United Focus, which of course is Was. He's put Rashford is our 90. Obviously not the same level, but in terms of he was very inconsistent, but had moments of brilliance. Like firstly, and also he's also put Sancho would take Rashford's spot if Oli is honest. And lastly, he's put, and I'm assuming this is related to Benji's comment regarding Martial. Sterling and Salah miss about 5 chances a game prior to them scoring.
They're not number 9s.
Yeah, I suppose, but you could even make a case for other players that missed that many chances. Like Kane, how many chances Kane have a game realistically? But anyways, let's forget about Martial. What are your thoughts on Rashford? He said he's a bit like Nani. I don't know what my opinion on that is, but what do you reckon?
What you're trying to say, but basically that he's kind of inconsistent and
But he has moments of brilliance.
The 4 banger.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see the correlation towards that, and I think that's not an unfair comparison. My issue with Rashford is there's a lack of good decision making in his game right now, which is alarming because when he first came through, the decision making was there, and as he was getting older and better, you could see it was getting better bit by bit. So I don't know what the hell's happened from when he hurt his back to now. That's made his decision making just go wayward. Yeah. The thing about him going onto his left foot is, of course, he hardly ever does it. He does it like 1 time out of 50. But I encourage you to do that more because now it makes yourself unpredictable. So like the way Greenwood is, like when Greenwood came onto the scene, left foot, right foot, you couldn't stop him. So then he got doubled up on. That's why Greenwood features less in games now because he's much more of a danger. People recognize that. But you need that from Rashford as well. However, he had that guy on literally about to fall down. He had him on the ropes, just cutting and whacking far post because he's done it so many times and he's executed it to perfection. Just do that again. We need him to do that. I think it's decision making that's getting to him.
Do you think it's a lack of confidence? Because just to add before, obviously, regarding decision making, and I remember myself, you, and Benji not so long ago. I think it was against Sheffield United, in fact, when obviously he got 2 assists that game. His finishing was poor. His finishing has been poor post lockdown. There's no disputing that. I don't think anyone can dispute that. But I think all 3 was very impressed with his decision making. In particular, we said he's adopted a new role and he's been the creator. And we like the only reason I'm throwing it out there, and this is me as well, by the way, just before people think I'm trying to expose these two, I said the same thing. His decision making was actually fantastic. We was actually praising him on the fact that he's improved his decision making. I feel like with Rashford, it's actually he just looks tired and low on confidence in particular. I'm not why,
but who isn't a confidence player? I mean, the thing is, the statement about the confidence player thing is there's not one player on earth that will lack confidence and still give you a 9 out of 10 performance.
Absolutely.
Everyone has to feel confident. So for me, it's very simple. I think he's trying to do too much. I think he just needs to keep his game simple. I've criticized him for dropping a bit too deep to play long passes. Bro, a couple of weeks ago, you went to Brighton, you beat 2 players and went to help assist the goal. Like, that's what you can do. Do it more often.
Did
Take
against
on
Palace
players.
as well. Against Palace for months.
Exactly, did against Palace as well, because you have that in your locker, and that's your game. We've
Yeah.
seen you beat players on the byline. We see you beat players on the edge of the box. We see you chop, do a little chop and then whip into the far post from outside the box to inside the box. We know your game. So I admire the fact that you want to add more to your game because you're trying to make yourself more complete. But in certain situations, you need to know when to apply that. Because if you got a player one-on-one, the first thing they're going to do when you're coming at them with your speed and your ability to beat players with your dribble, they're going to go backwards. They're going to step back. So you have to get onto them. Same way what Martial's doing. Martial against, I know it's only, I don't say only, it's Copenhagen, but there was about two or three times in the game when he just cut in, but he was just beating players off the dribble easily because he knows he can do it. Like, that's what I want from Rashford. So, decision making needs to get back to where we know it can be, because right now, where he is right now, I can talk about mental tiredness, I can talk about all of that, but right now he's gonna have a break from now till the season starts.
I'm not buying this tiredness talk, bro.
No. But what I'm saying is, in terms of physical tiredness and all that, that won't come into the discussion once you come back to the game, because you would have had that time of rest. So that's not an excuse. You know what I'm saying? That's not an excuse. If you're tired because you played 61 games this year, okay, you know what? Maybe I can give you a little bit.
Fair. They're not really gonna get much of a break anyway, so it's a bit
but you're not playing. You're not playing games every 5 days now, every 3 days.
We might get an extension as well. There's rumors that we might get an extension. Yeah.
So, but regardless, I just want to see better decision making from him. He's a top player. I genuinely believe that, but decision making needs to come into it. Just like Nani as well. Nani had that season where he went off on one. He was just slapping everybody about. You saw that. So I want that same thing, and just more to a consistent level. That's what I can ask him.
Yeah, no, 100%. Listen, just before we go into the next topic, which of course is transfers, and then we'll finish on Ali. Man United focus, obviously, was he's just pulled out all the stats, right, for Kane and Martial in terms of conversion comparison. So he's put it in the comments. I'm going to put it on the screen. So first and foremost, big chances missed in the league. Harry Kane, bear in mind, he's been out for a long period. So he missed a lot of season. He's missed 7. Martial's missed 10. Right. Shot conversion, so success. Martial percentage this year, 21%. So which is okay. It's not amazing. It's not bad. Harry Kane's at 22%. So it's literally 1% difference in terms of conversion this season, in terms of your clinicalness, which is what you were saying.
What point is he trying to deliver here?
So what I'm saying is, I'm just basically, I'm not saying.
Yeah, you're not saying anything. But what is he trying to say?
The thing is, I get it. But the thing is, all this big charts and stuff, is not. It's in these stats. What do you class as a big chart? Do you get?
To be fair, I do agree with that. It's a bit.
We're talking
blurred lines,
bro. Give Harry Kane one of those chances.
Yeah, but that's why I've said this is why I'm saying this, Benji. If he scores 2 of them chances, obviously you're not going to make that comment. Of course you're not. But the thing is, of course you're not going to make that comment. But what I'm saying is you're being reactionary to that game, because like prior to this game, I've never heard you say, and I don't know what other guys think. Just take this game out. Obviously we can't. But prior to this game, I can't sit here and say Martial's not clinical. If anything, he gets lauded for being clinical. Everyone always says eyes running through his veins and all that BS and all that, whatever comes with it. And he has been clinical for me personally. Look, we can use this for another time. We don't need to go into it. Listen, I've got a couple of comments here. That's just my opinion, obviously. At the end of the day, it's not that deep in it. Let's go on to a couple of comments. United Way, we've got once again saying yes, there's too many. There's 3. Right, okay. We're gonna talk Sancho. We have to talk Sancho because I think if anything, that game emphasized the importance of us having to sign Sancho, or at least somebody that's quality. I heard we're linked to Douglas Costa. Obviously, check out Benji's little transfer show after this, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, so Douglas Costa, Dembele, Sancho, one of these players who could come in and actually put some pressure. Even Memphis Depay, I don't know, put pressure on the front 3. How important is that, Jack?
Well, fundamental, because as many people like to point out, especially on Twitter, I know obviously Twitter's not the place to go to.
Yeah.
But the reason why Rashford started yesterday is because, as been said several times, there's no other option. So if for example, in City's team, when Mahrez doesn't play as well, the first thing that happens is he gets dropped for a David Silva or a Bernardo Silva because they have squad depth, and arguably people would say that Rashford's only playing because there is no one else, and you could argue that because we haven't exactly got the squad depth, and anyone that will come in that would challenge that would make one of the forwards think, especially if they didn't play one week, like, oh right, so I've not played fantastically. I know that I can't let my laurels rest because that could be me on the bench next week, and that could be me on the bench for the next few weeks if the team turns a corner. Say next season if we go a few games, without winning, and we had Sancho and Rashford started playing poorly, and obviously in Greenwood's in the first team now. If Rashford sits on the bench thinking, "Oh, this is my opportunity gone now, and I'm now on the bench," surely it's only positive. It would make him more hungry.
Yeah,
to sort
definitely
of push to get himself back in the team. So competition is never a bad thing, and we haven't had competition in that area in terms of wingers, in terms of forwards, since arguably we had.
We had competition with Sanchez, Martial, and Rashford all playing on the left wing. Not that it was positive.
Yeah, no, I mean more like up front when we had Lukaku, Ibra, Rashford, and Martial. That I know, obviously.
And Rooney.
Yeah, and Rooney. Yeah, so we had 5 people fighting for one place, and that's never a bad thing. So any signing's good, but God knows who we're going after and how much we're going to be willing to spend.
I just want to add, Jack, or something you said. Why does everyone think that Rashford's going to get dropped, bro? It's not a 4-goal.
I was just about to say every single person in this chat is saying Rashford is going to get dropped. Literally everyone's saying Rashford.
Because right now he's the one that's not. He's in the worst form out of the 3.
He's the weak link.
So that's why I feel like they're saying that.
No, I'm not saying to drop him. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not looking at you, but I'm looking at all the comments and even like around. Everyone's saying that Rashford should be dropped.
Because that is genuinely reactionary stuff. Like if Rashford comes back into the first into the new season and starts like a house on fire, is they gonna say it should be Sancho, Martial, and Rashford? That's just what it is. At the end of the day, though, what I say is spot on. Because if Rashford Rashford loses his form, if Sancho just switches to the left for the next game and then Greenwood comes in, that's good. That means you're not guaranteed starting the game. That's how you keep players motivated. We've seen too many examples.
For once in 10 years' time, one of our players can actually get a proper rest.
That's also important.
That is vital, man. But like, listen,
why Rashford was gone for like 10 years because all you had to force him to play against Wolves. Yeah. If you had Sancho, it's not that deep. You get so competition for places needed at Man United.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think everyone in the comments completely agrees with that. Let's talk about. I want to talk about before we, like obviously I mentioned we are going to talk about Oli at some point, but I want to talk about the importance of transfers. Like I know it's so obvious. Like we've got another comment here by some of the guys saying the season starts in 3 weeks, which is absolutely ridiculous. It literally starts in 3 weeks. Come tomorrow, wherever it is. Look, first and foremost, I just want to throw this out to you guys prior, to obviously asking this question. Do you think there's a potential? Well, this is just me personally, and this is what I would do. So. After yesterday's game, I'm hoping it's a blessing in disguise that we lost that game. The reason being, hypothetically speaking, just say we go and win that competition, you know what our board is like. They can say, oh, there's no fucking issues, it's paper over the cracks. Listen, if I'm Oli, right, and Ollie's called out the board, I know you guys were asking for it. Ollie has blatantly made it obvious that he said it in the post-match. I listened to the whole post-match, all 13 minutes or whatever it was. He said clearly we need players. They asked him, why didn't you bring any subs on? And his face just literally told the picture. And again, I'm not saying that he shouldn't have brought subs on because he definitely should have. He had to change something. It wasn't working in the last 20 minutes. He had to change. So I agree with everybody. That's great sentiment. That's completely right. But he basically said, I've got fucking shit on the bench, basically, without indirectly saying it.
Yeah.
Is this a blessing in disguise in terms of Ollie's going to look to us and look, we've lost 3 semi-finals and I've not been able to make a sub in any of them to actually do anything, apart from the Chelsea one, because we actually had a better players on the bench, so I suppose we made something in that one. Colin, we'll come to you first. You look like itching, mate. What do you reckon?
Do you know why we know why he doesn't make changes? Like for me personally, the only person I ever actually say his name for substitution is Mata, because he's the only one I look at the bench and say he's got a bit of quality in him. That's literally the only person I call out. Lingard, maybe just because of the off the ball movement is great, but on the ball, I mean, but this is I want to say it's a blessing in disguise, but we all know who Woody Woodpecker is. And that's
We're
why I call
hoping
him.
it's a blessing. This guy. This is
Yeah.
me being. This is
Yeah.
me being optimistic. This is me thinking it's gonna be a blessing. I'm just.
Bro, the way it's
hoping
for me,
it is.
the way it's for me, right, is the reason why I want to be optimistic, but the reason why I just can't be regarding him is because this is not the first time that I feel like he's gonna fail us because he's done it before. He's got a track record of doing
He did
this,
it for
which is
Mourinho,
absolutely
he did it for-
embarrassing.
Bro, this
I
stuff
mean,
is bad, bro.
I don't like referring back to this one all the time, but I have to refer to it over and over and over and over again. Mourinho finished second, told you waiting Maguire and
Embarrassing.
Alderweireld. You
Embarrassing.
said no because we got Mike Smalling at the back. So Alderweireld obviously didn't come. Now he's declined, whatever. And you paid 80 million a year later for the same centre back that the guy was falling out for.
Who is easy to say no to one of the most successful men? I think he's like top
Yeah.
4 in the whole of in the history of the game. He said no to him. You can't have a centre back.
So I want to be optimistic, but I just can't trust the man because even last year we lost Lukaku, and the first thing Oli said in the press conference was, "I want to get another striker." Those were his actual words. He said it loud and clear, and you didn't get him anyone. He also wanted Bruno Fernandes in the summer. We waited 6 months to go and get Bruno Fernandes in the club, and you eventually paid the same fee they were asking for in the first place. I mean, I want to be optimistic, but it ain't gonna happen. But we need depth and we need competition because, bro, I can't lie to you. I was annoyed that he made substitutions after we went behind. Granted, that is wrong. However, if his wing option is Daniel James, who only knows how to play against a team that pushes forward so much that he has so much space to run into, you're in big trouble. Even yesterday, he had a free dribble, not the ball around the player and run with your speed. He ran into 2 players. I mean,
why did he cut in then? I was like, just knock it past him like you do on FIFA and you're shit at the game and you just abuse pace.
But
just knock it past him front, bro.
Exactly, and that's the point. So, you know, we lack on the bench. If I'm being completely blunt with it, we lack a lot of players with IQ. Simple as that. Simple as that. We need players with IQ.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. We've got a few questions here. First and foremost, United were saying Oli needs to improve his in-game management. That's his biggest fault at the moment. I completely agree. Another comment here from United Focus, Benji. I'm going to pass this to you because I've got a feeling you probably agree with this one. Here we go. It's for Usmaan. Oli is reactive and not proactive. I agree with that. Sevilla manager made subs, went on back foot and doesn't have great subs. Oli's clueless in game management is an excuse for Oli. Right, first and foremost, before I do pass it to you, Benji, me, Abdul and Kolja just actually dispel this whole nonsense. You know, a lot of United fans, right, and I'm just going to throw this out there and I'll pass it to you, Benji. A lot of United fans wanted us to make a sub between 60 and 70th minute. If you actually watch the game back, that was the moment we were literally had them on the ropes. Like we had that moment where the ball got played to Martial backstake. He chests it, he hits a new post, he then lays up to Rashford, he got blocked, and then he had a 1-on-1, and then he had another 1-on-1. That was in that period of time. We were literally battering them. So I don't feel like Oli needs to make a sub in that moment in time where a lot of fans were asking for it. But, you know, is there a case that he is reactive, not proactive in terms of he doesn't actually do something, he wait for something to happen? Benji, what are your thoughts?
I agree. I fantastically agree, of course. I feel like,
of course.
Of course I do.
I feel like it is what it is. Everyone knows he's tactical. I won't even say tactical, but his subs are just. He takes too long to make a sub. Like I feel like he needs to kind of like learn to trust the squad. At the end of the day,
yeah, I agree with that.
He's the same person that said in February that I'm happy with my squad.
Yeah, but he's not going to come out and say my squad shit.
But I'm just saying,
they're not politicians, in it.
I'm just saying, these are the quotes of the man, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself.
We got a politician here as Jack. What do you say?
So, if he said that he's happy with his squad, at the end of the day, football is a team game. Like,
yeah.
As much as people talk about subs and depth and whatnot, if you look at Liverpool's bench, there's a pile of crap on that bench as well. So it's not like they got some world-class, amazing bench. But notice you have to trust your players at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because it's a squad game. At the end of the day, some of these players are going to stay in this squad for next season.
Which one of them players? Sorry, just to ask you because I'm curious. Which one of them players would you trust then? But would you trust? Because to be fair to Ali, I've just got to throw this in here. He has actually subbed a lot of them on, and they've been fucking shit. Like no 30-minute stints. Like he subbed a lot of these guys on, and they've been terrible. Let's be honest. But like, I'm just curious to know what you think.
But the
Like,
funny
who
thing
would you
is,
trust? Who would you trust from that squad that's got?
I said Lingard, and that's for me. That's who I would trust personally. But
That's scary, man.
I look
Two players that I was nine
I
on
look at it
bench.
from the managers.
We're finished.
I look at it from Ollie's point of view. Reason why I never ever talk about this just stuff, to be fair, is that laws. The reason why I agree with what Wax is saying is because during the season, when we had big games, McTominay was having good games. Everyone was raving about McTominay. Fred was having good games. Everyone was raving about Fred. Daniel James at the beginning of the season, especially in the big games, everyone was raving about Dan James. All of a sudden now they're not good enough. That has to come down from one thing. That has to come down from the manager. Because all these players, these are the players you relied on for so long to get you to where you were supposed to get.
But did you? Sorry, I missed that. Did you say Dan James were having good games? Sorry, I think that went over my head.
Dan James had
At the beginning, he did.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Even a lot of the big away games, he was one of the main reasons why we won those games.
Yeah, against Liverpool, he was fantastic.
And against Chelsea, he won a penalty. And against Chelsea, again, he won a free kick.
City as well, actually, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. His play caused a lot of the big team problems. But all of a sudden, now he's not good enough, and now he can't come and play for our squad. And that has to go down to one man. I'm so sorry. I love the guy, but it's only done a socials for.
Can I throw this in here though? Just a little thing for me is that when he played with these players, right? No matter the opposition, which was absolutely scary by the way, but no matter the opposition, we played one style, which was just solely counter-attack. And in those big games, the one thing that we were very lucky to have is the fact that these teams will come at you no matter what. So City will press high, super high actually. So would Chelsea, and the fact that Chelsea defensively, well, Premier League teams in general defensively are trash anyway. But yeah, Chelsea with Alonso and either Reece James or a declining Aspie weren't great. We're able to take advantage of that, and that's where your Daniel James and your McTominay were able to shine a bit more because their jobs were, for me, a bit more simpler, easier for them to execute. But now he's got better players back, and he wants them to play with them. I feel like they're not
technically gifted. That's what it is.
Technically, and I think also when you're playing counter-attacking football, your intelligence doesn't have to be very high. The jobs are a lot less difficult as to controlling the game. Like if you're told sit back and set passes and then play it long so the guy can run onto it with speed. I mean, you're gonna have a field day doing that because it's simple to do. But these guys can't control games, and that's where it's scary for me. I mean, someone like.
But at the same time, that point you said is very key. That Manchester fans, obviously we changed the style of football. Very, very fantastic what you added there. That's why you call Coach Kojo. But at the same time, I still feel like.
Can you come into the shop, by the way, Don Benji? Is that okay?
Sorry.
Because of your face.
Man like Don Benji.
Sorry.
Don Benji.
At the same time, I feel like he needs to learn how to manage a game, number one. Number two, and manage a squad. We need a squad. At the end of the day, look at Fergie, What, you're telling me when we used to bring off people like flipping Overton and them man there, Chris Eagles and that.
They didn't play that many minutes alive,
no,
man.
but still,
Overton came over before they looked, bro. Come on.
Against Everton.
Yeah, but you compared them to Fergie, man. Come on, that's ridiculous, man.
I'm just saying, this is the level that Manchester we remember. These players were made to look good. Do you understand? At the end of the day,
but they were alongside Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs and like literally world beaters.
Wait. Did Overton look good?
Bro, he done a job. I mean, like, you know, not like over.
He did his poorly count, but that was it.
Players that overstretching it. Some of these players, when they came on, they done an okay job. You get like,
yeah.
Kiri came on against Man United, scored 2 goals, and they basically went on to win the league from there. You got
yeah.
Flipping who? Oxlade-Chamberlain. Who else is there? Flipping Matip. All these players that are made to look good, like. It's the manager has to learn how to trust his players. At the end of the day, next season, Dan James is definitely going to be there. Matta's going to be there. McTominay's going to be there. Fred's going to be there. Who else is going to be there? Most of that bench is going to be there.
Lingard probably will be.
You can't tell me they're just going to play in the League Cup. Because Pogba needs to rest sometimes.
Yeah.
International fixtures are coming up, and obviously Euros are going to be back, so it's going to be competitive fixtures.
Yeah.
Bruno's definitely need the rest. Everyone's going to need the rest. Martial's coming back into that French squad as well, so he needs to learn how to trust these players. And
It's
you can't
true.
fail.
That is true.
The first half of the season, or before lockdown, before all the Rashford and them came back, he trusted all of these men to get him results. He has to trust them again. And that's the biggest thing that I point him out to. You can't just throw these people to the side because you're not a manager of that level yet to be talking with all that crowd. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's not like he's won the Champions League or a Premier League. You have to have these players are the players that helped you. Don't forget that.
Pochettino hasn't.
Oh shit! Listen, Ben.
This guy's a joke.
I'm joking.
No. Listen. Allow Pochettino, man. Why are you licking his ass?
I love Pochettino. You know.
Listen, you're first and foremost, you're right in terms of you just need to trust the squad. Again, listen, I had to play on Ollie's side because I know nobody else is going to in this video. Again, and I'll pass it to you, Jack. Against Norwich, first and foremost, right? Against Norwich. I don't know what it was. An FA Cup? I don't even know what it was.
Yeah.
He rotated our team, right? These mans, okay, first and foremost, against Spurs, first game back, he didn't put Pogba in. He allowed Pogba to have his rest. He bought Fred and he bought McTominay. They had an absolute mare. Okay, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Against Norwich, he rotated his team. He allowed man to have rest. He brought the Daniel James. He brought these other guys in that you're referring to in terms of you should trust them. And they almost got kicked out by Norwich. Like, we literally got a Maguire goal, which was the shittest goal you'll ever see, right? And he celebrated like he scored a 30-yard banger. But we were so shit that game. So against last, second leg, he trusted the players. Okay, granted, there was literally Jack shit on the line. Imagine this, right? You're 5-0 up against last, and you're getting a game for Man United. You can't absolutely dominate him. You're 5-0 up, and you still can't dominate him. And these are the same players you're saying he needs to trust. So you got to look at it from that perspective as well. From his, and I know coach is a coach as well, and he'll tell you if you've given people opportunities, and they're dropping disaster classes. 4s, 5, and everybody said this as well. It wasn't just me. Against Lask and Norwich, everybody said that it was embarrassing, wasn't it? These are the guys that he's meant to be trusting. So it does work both ways. I completely agree with what you're saying, by the way, Benji. You do need to trust the squad as well. But in games he has trusted them, to be fair, they've been shit. Let's be honest. Even against Brighton, we're 3-0 up. He subbed on Dan James. He subbed on somebody, I can't remember who else. He subbed on a couple other guys. They had it. Remember what we were saying earlier when Pogba and Bruno, when Pogba and Bruno got subbed off, every single United fan was talking about the drop off in quality. When we're 3-0 up, these men still can't control the game. When we're 3-0 up, so how is he going to trust them?
But also, Usman, I put it to you. Sorry, Jack. I'll give you a time.
No, go for it.
Usman, I put this to you. Yeah.
Go on.
Why are you putting a pile of these? Just we have a game, okay. Norwich has been playing 5 games in a row. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just throws a pile of people that rarely ever play together. First match back from lockdown, they all just get thrown onto the pitch.
Yeah. What
do you expect them to do? Huh?
Sorry, against Norwich?
Against Norwich.
Okay, that was a few games in, was it not?
Yeah, but they
haven't
played not one. Most haven't played not 1 minute. And Norwich was their best team. The Norwich team was not better than that team.
That team's dead, Norwich team.
But there's no cohesiveness in the team, bro.
I hear that point.
That's the thing. Like, look, I managed a team on Saturday. I won 3-0. I know what I'm talking about. When we have training, when you have trainers as a coach, you set out your 2 teams. They play against each other. The A team and the B team. Right. The structure's the same. The philosophy is the same. Everyone plays the same. When the B team comes onto the pitch, there's nothing there, bro. Nothing there. And even the tactics when he's not coming on the pitch, it's just nada. You can see Dan James, on the weekend, I mean, yesterday against Seville, he was running to cul-de-sacs for no reason. Right, that's the manager's fault.
Right. That's just
Whoa! What? You're blaming the Ollie? You're telling me Ollie said to him, "Fucking run into cul-de-sacs on the week."
What was that at the beginning of the season?
You're telling
to Dan James.
What's that got to do with last night? What's that got to do with last
night? Bro.
Wait, hold
on. If cause I know you won 3 now. I saw on Instagram. Congratulations on that, by the way. But if you're a right winger, you know you can coach. If your right winger runs into 2 men by just being stupid.
I have
Is that
a
your
winner,
fault?
bro.
Because if you say yes, yeah, I'm gonna come watch the game, and if I see it happen, I'm gonna look at you straight away and say, "You're bench."
No, I
Nah.
have a winger that plays like that. That's why it's so funny. But the thing
Listen,
is,
just to answer your question, then I'm gonna pass to Jack because Jack, we're not even letting him speak.
sorry, Jack.
Yeah, you best
No, I
be
don't
worried.
mind. I
Sorry.
don't mind.
No, you best be worried. Listen, regarding your comment about throwing random people together, I agree with that as well. I do agree with that. But listen, at the end of the day, this is the opportunity to shine. This is the opportunity to show to the manager why they should be playing. Again, I come back to the games where every single fan, you can go back to the fan cams of every single social media platform that is out there. Every fan agreed that the drop-off from Bruno and Pogba was so drastic, it's scary. So the only times that he's allowed to take these mans off when we were 3-0 up. So against Sheffield United, against Brighton, and I think it was Aston Villa, off the top of my head. There might be other games. Those games, he subbed these mans off, McTominay, James, the Freds, etc., etc. And these mans almost cost us goals in every game. We were actually getting popped off the pitch against all the teams. So if I am a manager, and I'm sure you guys would agree with this, if I'm making these subs and this is the outcome of the subs, if I'm McTominay and Fred, I need to be coming on the pitch and showing the manager why should we be playing. Not getting fucking popped off the park by Brighton when we're 3-0 up and we've got this literally no pressure on us. As soon as they got subbed on against Brighton, we almost conceded. That literally almost conceded. And Brighton was bossing it. So it works both ways. You know, the players have to be culpable, but I do agree. Ollie does need to rotate the squad. I agree with that. Anyways, let's come to Jack. Couple of things. First and foremost, you know, I've completely lost my trail of thought, but we had so many questions. Look, Jack, I think I've got it. Okay, yeah. Does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer rely too much on individual brilliance? Or I know what your answer is going to be. I don't know I'm asking this. But anyways, does he rely too much on individual brilliance? Or do you think there are some tactical important there?
Well, you do sort of wonder what goes on in training because, as mentioned, half the team do know. It seems as if, as you're talking about, when you talk about Norwich, half the team seem to sort of understand what's going on, the first 11, and then beyond that 11,
relax your body, man. Chill out. Your head's gonna fall off.
beyond the first 11, you just sort of wonder what the hell are like the first team getting that the second team aren't, because obviously the first thing to do is point out that obviously Ole's subs as of recent tend to be quite late, but then maybe his argument towards that is, why should I look to the bench when we've seen the displays of the second team, and maybe it's something to do with the fact that the second 11 don't understand the tactics or the coaching, because obviously the first 11 together seem quite cohesive in one unit. They all seem to sort of know what they're doing, well, apart from when there's a sort of panic at the back. Yeah. But I think that's why Matic needs to play at all times, but never mind. But you sort of wonder, like, obviously Ole does have his tactics. I think he's more tactical against the top 6, top 7, top 8 teams. The rest, I'm sort of half the time unsure. And it's a question of whether or not he's avoiding subs because the bench is miles off what he wants, maybe. And maybe he sort of is thinking, well, if I look behind me to the bench to make an impact, nobody's going to make an impact because they don't, as displayed by Norwich, arguably that second 11's appalling. But like, I don't know if that's to do with him not having the tactics of it, because you can't look at 3 semi-final losses and then go, oh yeah, tactically he knows what he's doing, because it's happened 3 times. Obviously in the league it's not really been a problem. But when it comes to knockout and semi-finals, it seems to have, I don't know, tactically seems to be a bit off the way it goes. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to say.
Because you're saying the right things, bro.
Right, listen, Benji, would you relax, yeah? Just because he's saying what you want to hear. Like, listen,
I was going to say something, yeah. Is that the second team was socially distancing away from the first team in training?
Yeah, what are they doing in training? Are they just fucking on a different pitch? You know what I mean?
Right. But Koji, 1 second, I'll pass it to you. But just before we pass it to Koji, is there a case that the second team, right, are fucking not good enough to wear the shirt? Is that one case? So, like, there's so many players that we cast as deadwood, and all of a sudden now we want them to come on and make a difference. That we're so bad in prime Ronaldo, Rooney, and Tevez. Like, it's not going to happen, are they? They're not good enough. And the second thing is, I'll pass it to you, Koji. Let you do it too. Cody, what are your thoughts on that? Obviously, they're speaking about the tactics and the lack of him. What we started? Can we just talk about yesterday's game as well? We've not really spoken about it. That wasn't. You've spoken about the other two semi-finals. I would agree. The first one against Man City, I thought we actually played well in that second leg. Obviously, we were dog shit in the first leg. I thought we played well. We were a bit unfortunate. The Chelsea game, we were definitely shit. That was on Oli. I said it. I openly said that was Oli's fault. But yesterday's game, Kojo, like just to finish off, and then just to finish it off the podcast, was yesterday's game really Oli's fault? Like truthfully speaking.
No, not for me. Quickly, after the last game, by the way, I decided in my mind that I just don't want to see those guys again. So whatever you might say about second team, let them social distance in another club. Anyway, but anyway, no, what's the point? What's the point? Yesterday, so there was this thing about after we scored, I think a lot of fans felt like we fell off them and allowed them to sort of get control of the game a bit more. But what I saw it as was after we went 1-0 up, obviously the ideal scenario for most fans would be go and get that second straight away, press onto them, go onto their nets again because they're vulnerable now, go and score the second one. But what I saw and what I think actually worked quite well was Sevilla were pushing so far up, especially with the fullbacks that they love to do. They love to go so far past the actual wingers that, if we're talking about when we use Pogba as an example when he played that ball to Rashford and then Rashford fumbled it, he didn't know what he was going to do with left or right foot. It was actually working to an extent. So I felt like the plan was clear, and in the second half again, we gegenpressed them so far going forward.
You did what?
No, I'm talking about gegenpress, man. Chill, man. Let me land.
Okay.
Let me land, man. So when Jack was talking, you just smiling. When I talk, you want to come and pipe up.
Sorry. Cody, talk again. Let me do what he does. Go on. Cody, talk again.
I'm joking. No, but we're pressing them a lot more. We're trying to create a lot more chances, which we should have scored.
That's funny.
I got my supporter as well. Yeah.
Yes.
No, but seriously though. We created a lot more chances. We should have scored many one-on-ones, as we've already alluded to. So that's when I have to look at the players, because you might know how it is with me. When it's with Ole, I will say the in-game management. I'll say the substitutions being late. I was quite triggered that he made his first substitution after we went 2-1 down. I was screaming for Rashford to come off at half-time after that last mistake. I had enough of him, to be honest. Yeah. But obviously, he didn't make that change. I had to deal with that. But we had enough chances to win the game. And I'm not going to talk about structural or whatever. That was just point-blank stupid defending for all the goals.
Absolutely.
Simple was that. Wan-Bissaka not being with his man, Lindelof not trying to clear a ball that he was clear to head away by himself. Brandon Williams not closing down quicker to try and stop the cross coming in. It's all just stupidity.
What about Maguire?
I don't want to go as Maguire today. I'm trying to.
Maguire was good yesterday. I don't know why he's getting banned.
No. Because I think with the first goal, the first goal thing was obviously there's this picture as a freeze frame of him looking completely the other way.
Benji sent it.
Yeah, there's a freeze frame of him looking the other way when the ball's coming across, and I think I said it to you earlier today that. Yeah, I said to you earlier today that I don't feel like he should have. I understand that he saw the other guy coming in from the same, so he's like, okay, maybe I need to close it up. But for me, just position yourself a bit more. Wait for the guy to, when you know this decision's coming, stay where you are, stay in your area, so that just in case he whips it there, then if not, you just kind of close down. The best you can do is try and make it as hard as possible to score, not open up a gap for him to say, okay.
Can I just ask you, Kojo? I actually said this in the watch long as well. So, is there not a case, right, that Fred should be marking that guy? He's almost on edge of box.
But where was Lindelof?
Where was Fred?
So this is where
we had no DM.
This is why I'm getting onto United's players, because hear me out. Lindelof went out wide.
He was a fucking
the guy on the wing, which meant and then Wan-Bissaka didn't follow Reguilon because I think he didn't know where to go next. So then that whole space was just left open already. Yeah. So Maguire was already in trouble.
He was by the
exactly. So Maguire was already in trouble. And the thing about Fred, of course, if everyone did the job properly, Fred, you expect him to track that man. But we were so disjointed and so rattled at the fact that we didn't get a throw-in. For goodness sake. Pardon?
Wasn't it the striker? I just want to mark the striker.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Which goal are you talking about? The first one?
The first one, yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, the
Wow,
first goal.
Benji.
That's not Fred's fault.
No, we're not
No, I
saying
never
that.
said.
But it's
I never
asking
said
that
it.
where
I'm
could he
just
have
curious
been?
to where he was.
And
man.
I'm saying that if everyone was actually positioning where they were supposed to be in the first place,
Yeah, Manchester
Maguire
would be
wouldn't
there.
have to. Yeah, Maguire wouldn't have to think about whether I have to go here or there.
If
And Fred
if
could
Lindelof was in the
actually-
box, that we potentially could have stopped that. But he wasn't in
Exactly.
the box.
He
That
went
was the
so
problem.
far wide to go and track someone
Yeah.
that
Had
was
to be
not even going to get the
hero,
ball.
Yeah,
You know, so it was
Yeah.
just it was just a whole
Wan-Bissaka
mess.
Wan-Bissaka when it came across, man, he had to stay in his position. Wan-Bissaka come across and
Yeah.
job done in it.
That's
But
basic football.
yeah, go on, Benji. Just to finish off in it, obviously I know your thoughts on Ali. As you guys know, I was recording my phone. I've not got much battery left. I'm on about 15%. Right. So as always,
As usual.
I know, I apologize, man. I don't know why I'm apologizing. Yeah, so Benji, listen, thoughts on Ali? I know he was massively vocal. If you haven't checked out the fan counts, by the way, from the guys, by all means, check them out. Obviously, you can get that actual reaction after the game. Obviously, a bit more frustration, that kind of thing. You're quite adamant. Ali has to go, basically, innit? You want Poch. Luckily for you, Coleman's gone to Barca. Surprisingly, I thought they would get Poch, but that's nothing to do with us. Listen, would you pull the trigger now? Basically, is what I'm asking you.
I want Benji at the wheel. I saw your 3-0 win.
Yeah, man.
So that 3-0 win, bro.
If
I
I
want Benji at the wheel.
come in, I'm playing a 3-4-3, mate. But no, honestly, you know what? I think we should just pull the trigger because we actually have a very, very decent squad, but we just have a dead manager. So it's like what is like going to McDonald's and getting like nuggets about fries. That's what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is for me personally. I just don't see or right the
What
dip.
kind
I
of
just don't-
analogy did this guy?
I don't know. Jack,
Oh, I mean, it's like getting nuggets about the dip. Oli doesn't have that sweet and sour chili dip on top.
Oh,
of
that's
it.
sauce.
He doesn't add the flavor.
Sweet and sour,
to the
I like, man.
team.
Nah.
What do you want, barbecue?
Yeah, man. Come on, G.
Curry
Oh,
sauce, innit?
Oh, some chili sauce, man. Add some chili
Curry
sauce. That's
sauce,
spicy.
innit?
King.
Give him some flavor, man. What are you saying, man? Ollie's got a bit of flavor by it.
I always see these lot give him a chance, do this, do that. Whereas Rashford, we should bench him. But now it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He should be not sacked, mutually terminated. Because that's more of a nice
Director of football,
thing
no?
that you get.
So basically, you want a nice sacking.
Yeah, he's a legend. Take him the nice way.
Bro, fun the
At the end of
legend
the
stuff, man. You're saying
At the end
you
of
sound
the
like a
day- at the end
Bruno.
of the
Get
day-
him out
at
of
the
there if
end
you want
of
him out
the
of
day-
it.
At the end of the day, I don't want us to get to November. We're struggling and he goes. We might as well get rid of him at the end.
Listen, we're gonna. Okay, that's fair enough. Like, one thing I will say, and I've said to you guys can say what you want in it. It's your opinion, and I'm not gonna sit here and try to convince you otherwise. That's fine. Before I pass it to you, Jack, my standpoint is right. Come the start of the season, I want to top 4. I'm pissed off that we lost yesterday. However, we should have won yesterday 5-1, and no one's saying shit today about Oli losing his job. For me, it's simple. We should have won that game comfortably. Like, there's so many people in the comments. I think Nick Lavin's put, I don't know how we ever won that game. There's so many people on social media slagging Oli off for yesterday's game. But to be fair to you, you've been consistent, so I'm not going to hate on you for that. Innit? But other people that have been reaction and blaming Oli for yesterday's game, I just think it's a bit embarrassing.
No, I'm not blaming him.
No.
You didn't say you.
I just said not you.
This guy's triggered.
No, man. It just literally said not you as well. Anyway, and it doesn't matter if you blame him. Who cares? Who actually cares? It's not that deep. Anyways, Jack, same question to you, and we'll finish off. I'm assuming I know what coach's answer, but I'll ask him anyways. Listen, what are your thoughts? Do the board have to back him now? Basically, the title of this video is "Back or Sack," not "or Crack." But back or sack the manager. So obviously, Benji said sack him on mutual consent, whatever, how he's worded it politely. What are your thoughts on that?
In an ideal world, I would. This is an ideal world, so I'm not saying this is going to happen, but put him as director of football, bring in someone else. But if you're going to talk about a realistic world, I don't think that's going to happen. Obviously, he's got his top 4, so they're not going to get rid of him. So there's no point sitting here saying get rid of him because
what would you do? I know. It's a hypothetical, and I do.
Like Jack Woodward, you know.
What would you do, Jack, if you had a choice?
I'd put him as director of football and then get in someone, but as that's not going to happen.
I wouldn't be against that. I'm not going to lie. He's done well in terms of. He knows the fucking as well.
The way it's currently going, as Benji mentioned to, I would let him. If the board are going to back him this summer, although we only have 4 weeks till it starts, I'm a bit worried. And as I think Abdi said, there's no in hell way when we're getting 4 signings in 4 weeks. There's just not happening. Let's be realistic. And obviously, there's 2 months left.
We'll be looking to get one, mate.
one or two exactly. If they want to back him with Sancho and someone else, give him till the end of next season, and then the end of next season, put him as director of football. But then, as Benji said, you have to be careful because we have a habit of having a sticky period during November and December.
Yeah.
That was a problem with Ole, a problem with Mourinho, and arguably in the middle of the season when people got fed up of LVG.
Yeah, it was. This
So there's a problem. It's just, and Moyes as well. It's a problem we've had since Fergie left. So if we get to November and we're down the shitter again, then mutually ask him to terminate his contract and get someone else in. But it depends on. That's all hypothetical. You have to wait and see. But yeah,
fair enough. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Okay, Kojo, what are your thoughts, man? And obviously, I'll keep mine and we'll finish it off there.
And no matter who the manager is for my club or any club, I always say give them 2 to 3 summer windows to sort their team out and then judge them. However, if we are doing very, very poorly come November, December, yeah, I would pull the trigger. But I'll just say this to finish off. David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even Ryan Giggs for 14 days. I don't care if Pochettino comes in. I don't care if Ronaldo retires and becomes manager. I don't care if you bring back Sykes Ferguson. You can hire Darren Ferguson. Hell, you can hire John Cena. Night changes until them man in the board get out. Simple as that.
Yeah,
I ain't stressing it.
We'll do a separate part on that. Don't worry. Listen, just to wrap it up, fantastic show. Just regarding, obviously, you guys know I'm going to say back in it, of course. You know, I don't want to sack him mainly because his objective was top 4. Silverware for me was always a bonus. It's frustrating and massive disheartening, especially yesterday's game in particular, and the Chelsea one in the manner in which we lost. Look, you know, a lot of people are saying you lost 3 semi-finals. You've got to look into that, and I agree with everything. The worries that people have, I do agree with them. You know, I'm worried as well because obviously I want us to do well. But for me, he's got top 4, which is what the remit was at the start of the season. You have to put the money down, Woodward. If you haven't fucking watched yesterday's game, you prick. Watch it back, and you'll know that we need at least 3 to 4 bloody players. At the end of the day, all United fans want is to be challenging. We're not saying win the bloody title, at least be in the bloody conversation, or at least show a good flipping representation of the club. Because at the moment, it's fucking embarrassing, to be quite frank with you guys. That is it. I don't care who the manager is. I don't care if it's Oli. I don't have an agenda against players or managers. I just want to come to do well. If it's Pochettino, if it's flipping Nagelsmann, if it's fucking Allegri, I don't even care who it is. As long as the club's doing well and we're going in the right direction, that's the only thing that matters. So for me, Woodward, back him or sack him tomorrow, basically. Simple as that. Do one of those. Anyways, that has been your podcast, boys. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. As always, make sure you show the boys love. Their socials will be in the description.
Like, comment, share.
Make sure you like and drop a subscribe if you are new. We do appreciate. We're trying to get to 500. I think we're like 2 off 450 as we're filming as well, so we would appreciate it. Apart from that, it's been your boy Usmaan. Go on United! Come on. And also, stay tuned for Benji's transfer show in the morning. That's going to be happening soon. Anyways, peace in a bit, boys. That's if he's still recording.